Thug Rose Namajunas. Rose, how you doing?
I'm doing really good.
It's been a minute. Since the last time I interviewed you a few years ago here in New York. I guess in that time you left the sport, came back, started winning again. I guess your last, of course, your last outing against Zhang Wei Li was incredibly impressive and ended with a ridiculous kick that sort of sent the MMA world into a tizzy in 78 seconds. How are you just feeling about the fight game right now and your return since you decided to get back?
I am truly grateful, it's a good world to be a part of, I'm glad that I'm able to have the desire and passion to fully do this. And I know the I know the I've learned lots of lessons, and I know that lots at stake. So I just have to stay in the present moment and just, be always grateful.
So that's something that, like, I think we talk about a lot, or at least those of us who are, like, trying to find happiness and self-improvement is being present. Do you have
Mhm.
any tricks that you have? Like, we all say the words, but when you really mean be present, how do you go about trying to do that, at least for you, Rose?
Yeah, there's a few different things. I mean, I guess having a good game plan as far as like your preparation for whatever it is that you're worried about, like having good preparation, I think allows you to sort of just be like, at ease. But at the end of the day, there's certain things that you can't control. So praying and breathing and then doing ice baths or just talking to Pat, those type of things help as well.
Um, how how much do you fear Zhang Wei Li, or maybe not fear, respect? How much concern does she give you? Obviously, you can look at a fight and say, "Hey, it's a rematch of a fight that Rose already won. Not that much to worry about." Of course, though, we know how good she is, and the way that things ended last time, not necessarily likely to have that sort of outcome again, right? Like, every fight has its own story. So,
Right.
should you win on Saturday, it will probably be a different way. So, how much concern and thoughts do you have about having to do this whenever it's opponent for a second time?
Um, yeah, I have lots of respect for Whaley and the skills that she possesses. Um, Regardless of whatever happened in the last fight, I still have to look at what she can do, right? And she causes damage, so I have to be really disciplined and in my approach and protect myself at all times.
Um, when you walked away uh, that night, and you said, like, you didn't feel the desire in that way anymore, and the title seemed to weigh so heavy on you. Was there a moment when, like, the switch kind of turned and you felt that weight that had been on you with the title was lifted and you wanted to return, or was it just sort of a gradual missing of this sport that you obviously care about so much?
Um, I think that there was certain milestones that I reached that really made a difference, but overall it's been a gradual sort of foundation that I've built of um just better life decisions and maturity and stuff like that. Um Definitely returning back to my roots, going back to Lithuania to see my grandmothers and um going back to Minnesota with my old coach, my old grappling coach, Greg Nelson. That definitely had a huge impact as far as like the one of the first shifts in my mentality. Um, but since then, it's always been a constant process to keep building on that. And it's always a daily, I guess, choice to choose happiness and to choose I guess being present and aware.
Where is your dog these days?
She's with my mom. New York is a little bit we've brought my dog here a few times, but it's just not as enjoyable. There's no grass to run around on, so she's a little spoiled. So I'm
You should.
gonna I just left her with my mom and keep her company.
I will say though, New York though. So yeah. So the downside is there's not nearly as much room for a dog that, like, if it's a dog that, and if I recall, you brought your dog to the radio station and she was all over the
Yeah.
place. So like, I know that she's a dog that likes to move, but the upside of New York is that people bring their dogs everywhere. Like you can
Yeah.
basically, especially with a little dog, get away with bringing the dog almost everywhere. In
Yeah.
your day to day life, does she go literally everywhere with you, like restaurants, movies, etc., or do you have a line that you're like, okay, I'm not going to bring her here?
No, I don't bring her into restaurants. But I don't really go anywhere. I just like I'm a homebody and I if I'm going anywhere, it's like outside somewhere, um, or at the community garden. So I'll bring her there, and then, but yeah, I don't really go much places, and especially these days, I'm cooking a lot more at home.
What is your do you watch anything at home? Are you like a show watcher? Like, do you binge any shows at home? Do you watch sports at home, or are you just chilling in the garden cooking food with the dog? What's Thug Rose doing on a random Saturday night when you're not in training?
I ain't doing shit. uh, I'm just training and eating and sleeping, and then like sitting around tending to my garden maybe, or playing piano. Or I don't really, if I do put on something on TV, it's usually like at the end of the night and I fall asleep right away. I can't stay up for very long because I'm just working so hard throughout the day that I don't really have time for that. But I'll play piano, or go outside for a walk or something
What's
like
what's in
that. But
what's in your garden? What are you most proud of in the garden right now?
whew, so it's shut down right now. I have an indoor grow at home, but at like out this past season in the summer, we did beans, we did butternut squash, tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, beets, potatoes, kale, broccoli.
Oh, you
Uh,
basically had having your entire diet practically off of your own farm.
oh yeah, no, I had so the first year at the community garden, I had one plot, which is a 15 by 15, and then this year I had two plots, two 15 by 15. So it's a lot of space.
That's fantastic. What's the number one dish you could make? Like if you were trying to impress someone for like an important meal and you were cooking and hosting, what is the meal you're busting out because you know it's the shit?
Yeah, Pat says my red beans and rice. He loves he loves my red beans and rice. Being from New Orleans, I also make a really good borscht, or beet soup.
That's the
Uh,
Lithuanian. That's the Lithuanian part.
mm-hmm. Yes, I make a bunch of different stuff, but those are like my kind of go tos that I can always make.
Well, listen, I hope one day to taste your borscht, which is something I never thought I'd say during this interview. Rose, listen, it's always a pleasure. I think anyone who has gotten to watch you or talk to you always roots for you. So Saturday night UFC 268, we'll be pulling for you and looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Rose, peace.
See ya.
Yes, indeed. As we continue on the path towards Saturday night, UFC 268 is going down. This is a big one, man. Usman Covington 2. Kamaru Usman joining me right now. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
Second time in a week. Lucky us.
I know. I was just.
You were just like, why am I talking to this dude again?
It's crazy. I'm like, wait, why does this look familiar? Is that Rosenberg? Who is this dude? Who is this?
So what's your general zone like? We're talking on Thursday, 2 days out. What's your general zone / mood like? 48 hours, 55 hours out from fight time.
I mean, you can kind of tell I'm not as cheerful as I was in the other interview. Starting to dial in, and plus this is weight cut day. So today is when this is what this is the day that people don't really understand, that this is the hardest part of it. The fight day is just fun. The hardest part is training, dieting, and getting down to weight on a specific day. So Excuse me. So I'm about to embark on the toughest part of the journey here. Excuse me, in a few hours. So yeah,
Well,
once
okay,
we
hold
get
on.
that,
So how much weight cutting we doing today?
I can't tell you that, but I'm a pretty disciplined individual, and I make sure it's not harder than it needs to be on myself.
Right. It's not obscene, but it's still a tough day no matter how you cut it.
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not I don't have the most fat in the
No,
world.
that's what I'm saying. Like you don't have a lot of extra here.
Yeah, so it's always painful to get it off.
Are you a guy who, when the fight ends, are you a big celebratory meal? Are you having the next day, you having jollof rice, whole, Nigerian spread? What do you do after the fight?
I might if I can get my hands on it. After the fight, I think my main ritual, the most important thing, and I think the thing that I can't wait to get to for me is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just getting home, being on the couch with my daughter, watching movie, ordering Thai food. That's my thing. That's what I love to do. And to be honest with you, that's what I'm looking forward to the most right now. It's not really even, knocking this dude's face off or anything like that. It's that day of being
Just
on
being
that
able
couch.
to eat some pad thai and watch a show that y'all watch together.
Yeah, yeah,
What do
absolutely.
you what have you guys been watching? What have you and your daughter been into recently?
Just any Pixar movies. It's
Hmm.
so I think there's one coming up here. I'm trying to hold her off from watching it before, without me. So there's a new Pixar movie that we're gonna watch.
How much family do you have in the building with you during fights? Like who will be at the Garden?
Well, now it's pretty much everyone because I've been at this for quite some time now, and I don't know how much more I'm gonna continue to do this. So yeah, they tend to pretty much come now.
Do you feel, you are currently, you're the best in the world. You're pound for pound the best, and it's been like this for a little while. Um, you're not you don't say crazy nasty things to get attention. You don't wear fur coats and drive Bugattis, at least on camera, that anyone's aware of. Yeah, I don't want to say never, but it's not your brand, at least. um, and as a result, you are known and respected and appreciated by lovers of the craft. But do you feel that you get the notoriety and sort of respect, accolades that you deserve for just how damn good you've been in this career?
That's a loaded question. If those are the type of people that are the people that love, me talking trash and talking shit, those are the ones who respect I long for, and I'm doing something wrong. I don't necessarily care for that. You know, um, what's wrong with being good? What's wrong with being great? Since when is that not good enough? Since when is it that I have to be brash and put down this guy that I just beat, since talk trash about him, or since when is that the standard of which greatness is measured? I'm gonna go out there just like I was raised. I was raised right. I was raised with integrity. I was raised with respect, and that's how I roll. Because one day my daughter have to look my daughter in the face and my children and say, yeah, this is what daddy did. So if it's not matching up with the man that they know, then I've done something wrong.
You you've really shut down everyone who's come your way. I mean, the who's, Dos Anjos, Woodley, Covington, soon to be twice, Burns, um, Masvidal, twice. What else is there for you at this stage to solidify and wrap this thing up? Because now I've talked to you twice this week. Both times you've mentioned the end being, somewhat near. You're a smart, personable dude who obviously appreciates the level of damage that can be inflicted on your body doing this job, and you want to keep it moving and have a rest of your life. So what else is there to do before you get to that stage?
Yeah, absolutely. I've pretty much done what it is to do here in mixed martial arts. And yeah, of course, there's going to be new challenges. Like the time waits for no one. The sport's going to continue to grow, and there's going to be newer, younger, hungrier lions coming. And it's going to be their time and not my time. But right now, while we're here, of course, if I've run through everyone in this, I've said it. I want to do something that's going to scare me. I want to do something that's going to challenge me. I want to do something that people think is you can't be attained, you know. And when have you ever seen the 2 pound for pound fighters in combat sports, both at the top of their game, at their prime, go at it? We've never seen that. You know, I think it'd be the biggest fight in history. Of course, it's a money fight that sets us both up for a long, long time.
I mean, sets you up. It sets up your generation after generation a fight like that.
Exactly. And why not? Why not give the people that? Why not entertain? Because, you know, typically we never see the 2 pound for pound similarly close in weight. It's usually a smaller guy and a bigger heavyweight, or a smaller guy or a bigger heavyweight and a smaller guy. So, you know, that possibility is never there. But, you know, it's quite possible now. It's very possible. We're
So
going head to head.
You want Canelo?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? That scares me. You know,
Have you guys spoken? Have you guys had any conversations?
No, me and him have we've never spoken. I was actually present in his last fight, I believe. I walked in towards the end of the fight. It was late, but yeah, I've seen him in action. He's a damn good boxer, you know, if not the best.
He hits hard, bro. He hits hard. Those body shots are something.
Oh, he hits hard, of course. So do I. Ask Masvidal. You know, we both hit hard. We both great competitors. I think he's a damn good, phenomenal competitor. And in a sense, he's like me. He's like the boxing version of me. You know, we don't have to talk the trash. We don't have to do this or do that. We just go in there and we make it happen and we compete. And that's what I'm looking to do.
Now, it is a really interesting point you bring up, because we saw Floyd versus Conor. The truth is, at no point did anyone think that was going to be a great fight. No one with any knowledge whatsoever thought that was going to be a really competitive fight. We now have seen, but it did. It surpassed expectations. It did. Exactly. You know. Now, how much Floyd is such an entertainer that it's hard to know how much Floyd allowed it to be that way. We'll never know. But it was a circus, right? It was about the racial taunts and the trash talk, and it wasn't about two guys trying to solidify a legacy. What I like about this fight is that the truth is, Canelo has that one loss on his record to Floyd, and besides that, he's been searching for a name to really fight that would mean something, that would make Canelo be impactful beyond his incredibly huge Mexican fan base, right? Like, everyone else knows and respects him, but we haven't had that moment, that, you know, fight party moment where everyone's going to the Canelo fight party. You have to. And I think you could provide that more so than anyone else probably in the sport right now.
Absolutely. I mean, look at his last, can you name his last 4 fights? The guys he fought?
I forget the second the fight's in.
Exactly. And that's
the one this weekend is the most interesting one. Caleb Plant is probably the one that's most interesting.
Absolutely. And you know, it's just one of those things that in certain times, in certain generations, certain people come by that help, you know, elevate you, or that just are attached to you, that help change the landscape of how you are saw and thought of. And you know, this could be one of those things. I bring an audience with me that's far beyond just, you know, this part of the region. I bring an audience that's worldwide, and so does he. He's a tremendous athlete, and you know, it's not just going to be necessarily a spectacle, which it will be, but at the same time, these are 2 of the best athletes in the world in their prime. Why not? Why not?
And before we get to the possibility of that, obviously that requires you both winning this weekend. And you guys will be competing for eyeballs on Saturday night. But what are you going to do against Colby Covington, first and foremost? What is the plan of attack? What are we going to see happen on Saturday night at UFC 268?
Saturday night, UFC 268, live from Madison Square Garden. I think you're just going to continue to see my evolution. I've continued to grow each and every step of the way since I got into the sport, and now I'm getting to the height of it. Being the pound for pound best fighter on the planet, I'm just free right now. I'm free, and Saturday I'm gonna go in there and be free. And when I'm free, I'm a dangerous individual, as we saw in April.
I look forward to it. You know, there are a lot of things that that dude attempts to stand for that make a lot of us angry, you know, and feel like he plays around with topics that are not funny. And I appreciate you putting an ass whooping on that dude the first time, and we'll appreciate it happening a second time on Saturday night. Kamaru, look forward to talking more down the line, man.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Always, bro. Peace. That's Kamaru Usman. Saturday night, UFC 268. It's going down. I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to watch both fights because I want to watch UFC 268 and I want to watch Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I hope you do as well. If you are listening to this and you are a Cheap Heat audience member, next week, Cheap Heat has a new home. Go find us. All right, kids? Go find Cheap Heat. Follow at Rosenberg Radio and make sure you subscribe next week to the new home of Cheap Heat. Follow at Rosenberg Radio, Twitter, Instagram. Follow at Stat Guy Greg, the Dipperstein on Instagram. All right? My man Dave Shoemaker, the Ringer, Bill Simmons. Go follow all of that, and you'll find where we land next week.